The Base ecosystem has been on fire. Now, we were early with Aerodrome. I told you to buy that all the way back in February of this year, and the next Aerodrome on the Base ecosystem is Moonwell. Now, the video was this one right here. Coinbase will pump this altcoin, and I told you about Aerodrome back in February 29th. That's the actual date there. And if we look at Aerodrome, this is the time I was telling you to get in on this token. Very, very good price, very good entry point. And if we look at the market cap right now, we are now sitting around 800 million, and around February 29th, market cap was only 50 million. And I said Moonwell is going to follow Aero's trajectory here. Now, Moonwell is only at $169 million market cap, so not quite as early as Aerodrome at 50 million, but I still think this is a very, very early coin. Now, if we look at the price, you can see we are now flirting with new all-time highs as we speak. Now kind of looking like it wants to enter price discovery range. And if we look at Aerodrome before it hit price discovery range, it was still a great time. There was still a little bit of a pullback. Then we had a higher high, and continued to set in a higher high all the way through the middle of April. Now let's explore Moonwell a little bit. Let's peek under the hood and see if the stats tell us this coin wants to pump as well. Now this is a great analogy about these two tokens. Now we're talking about the Base ecosystem. Coinbase's Ethereum Layer 2. Aerodrome is the DEX that enables trading anything, anywhere on chain. Then Moonwell is the bank for all blue chip Base assets. Meaning if you're a strong Base project, you're probably going to have a tight partnership with Moonwell. And so if we look at one of the founders of Moonwell here, who previously built the Ethereum staking on Coinbase and distributed systems at Amazon Web Services, the biggest cloud company in the globe. So very, very good tech, strong tech. And Kelly Yeh actually just wrote in their Substack talking about Moonwell a little further. But the Substack has all the alpha, folks, as Coinbase brings Bitcoin and Ethereum on-chain through their Coinbase Wrapped Bitcoin and their Coinbase Wrapped Ethereum. Moonwell has ranked in the top of total value locked and yields for the three key assets on Base: Coinbase Wrapped Bitcoin, Wrapped ETH, and of course USDC. We're going to talk more about USDC in a little bit and then have some price predictions. Now, we keep scrolling here. Because of Moonwell's focus on the Base ecosystem, this puts them in a great position to win the battle. Now, Aero, the hottest coin on Base, is actually not yet supported by Aave or Compound. I actually wasn't even aware that they hadn't added this protocol. And so when you look at other large lending protocols, Moonwell's focus on Base makes it the premier lending market to benefit from the blue chip assets bridged on Base. So basically saying Aave, too slow, Compound, too slow. And when you want these hot Base projects, you're going to probably have to use Moonwell if you want to act fast in any kind of DeFi capacity. So very bullish for the coin. But speaking of DeFi, let's go to DeFi Llama, DeFiLlama.com, and it tells you all the stats about a chain. Now, when we're looking at Moonwell, is this ranked 50 or is this a top 10 coin, top 10 project on Base? Well, folks, we don't have to go too low. Now, like we said, Aave, not really supporting Base and all the protocols. Uniswap, also a little bit slow here. But Aerodrome leading the charge, and you see Moonwell coming in at number 7. But Moonwell's got a lot of stats that are winning here. One, you can see 1 month change on total value locked. It is the fastest horse in the race. Now we click on Moonwell here, look a little bit more closely. You can see is right now it has total value locked over 100 million. Now we're looking at two different lines on this chart. The blue line is the total value locked and the green line is the price. Now you can see the price and the total value locked kind of follow each other. And I don't think Moonwell is going to stop at 125 million, 130 million. I think Moonwell is going to have a lot higher TVL, potentially reaching hundreds of millions, potentially reaching into the billions. And Aave has over $13 billion total value locked, so 125 million, a lot of room to the upside. And one of the reasons they're blown up on DeFi, probably because they joined the Circle Alliance program. This is going to give you all types of extra features and also just kind of bring you into the insiders club when it comes to DeFi and stablecoins. And Circle makes USDC, so a lot of institutional support for Moonwell. Now, when you do a little digging on Moonwell, you can actually look at the vaults. And I was wondering, how much is actually staking Ethereum versus, say, Circle and their stablecoin? Well, the stats are pretty good here. You can see Ethereum, they have over $40 million total value deposited, 34 million with USDC, and then another 9 million with the Euro coin as well. So if you actually combine these, it is a little bit higher than Ethereum. So they have more stablecoins deposited than they actually do Ethereum. So this lets me know that the institutions love Moonwell. There's going to be good for its price. Now, speaking of institutions, we got to talk about token unlocks that kind of go hand in hand. What do the token unlocks look like for this token? Do we have a big dumping event going to just wreck us and, sell pressure and 50% of the token? Nothing like that. What they do have is a lot of unlocks around this 1 1/3% of the circulating supply. It's only about $2 million of sell pressure. We just had one. Another one's going to be about $22 million. Now, when you look at the graphic of the cliffs, it looks even scarier. Oh my God, what are these section right here? You can kind of see where we're at. We got big, giant amounts of tokens about to be unlocked. Well, you zoom in a little bit, it's not as scary as it needs to be, folks. Now, you have the stats right here. Number 1 on the top here is going to be application development. So application development is going to be an incentive for people to build on this chain. Now, liquidity incentives right now is the second large amount of tokens. But if we look here, it's about to be long-term protocol and ecosystem development. Now, I'm going to click on this and make it disappear. And you can see it right there. Now it's no longer on there. So long-term protocol ecosystem development. We also have application development taking up a large portion. And that's kind of good things for crypto. You want people building. You want to incentivize builders. And to me, that's not going to equal Sam Bankman-Fried's brother selling on you, at the peak of the market. So don't think all these tokens are going to be sold at once. This is going to be a long-term play. Now, let's get into the TA. Let's get into the charts. I got some price predictions for you. Officially breaking above its weekly black line resistance. There's a little bit of a catch here, folks. Now, when I zoom in, oh yeah, we can definitely see, we're now flirting with some certain levels. We look at the weekly chart, you just see giant wicks. But this wick kind of tells another story when you click on the 4-hour. When you go to the 4-hour, you'll see that insane wick, but you don't really see insane candle body closes. Now, the wick was magnificent. This is a 4-hour candle. Basically, you can see it above my head. Went from around 60 cents to 80 cents. That is a huge jump for one 4-hour candle. But I noticed the candle bodies, they can't really get above this level right here. So this is about as high as the candle bodies get. When we go to today, what do you see, folks? You see a lot of confluence. Right now, it looks like we're trying to turn that resistance into support. We closed a couple 4-hour candles above it, and we look at the daily, we haven't closed a daily above it. So the markets are trying to flip bullish, and I do think once this turns into support, Moonwell is going to be off to the races. In fact, you can't even say it might moon well. I'm sorry I had to get that joke in. Now, if you're wondering, if we go to the upside, what is the first cooling off period? And for that, we're going to use a little Fibonacci extension. Now, I checked this earlier. There's a lot of confluence here. Now, looking at the chart here, you can see it was respecting it very greatly. Just kind of bouncing around, wicked up 2 levels, bounced around, and then crashed through. Then you found a nice little support. Also, acted as a little resistance, and then later turned into a springboard. Now, I think the next level, obviously, is going to be where we peaked previously. That's going to be 80 cents. What about after that? Where do you want to take your profits, DZ? I want to take my profits probably around the 1618. And if we look right here, that's going to be around 12 1/3 cents. So around 12 pennies, I'd be expecting to take a lot of profit, maybe even 11 cents to try to get ahead of people. I think a lot of people are going to be looking at this Fibonacci extension tool. And if you want the moon math, folks, looks like, it is saying 30 cents is on the board right now. So nice little 6x from these levels, maybe close to a 5x. So I hope that answers some of your questions about what the heck is Moonwell. Is it the next arrow? Is it too late to jump in on this altcoin? I don't think it is, but I do want to say it's probably going to be bouncing around these areas here. So, right now, 65 cents on the high end, and on the low end, 53 cents. So it might be a little bit of a cheaper entry point in the near term. So watch out for those levels. That's all I got for Moonwell, the hottest DeFi play on Base. I picked me up a bag today. Full disclosure, folks. That's all I got for you. I'm DZ. And I'll see you and your Base DeFi tokens at the top.